How about food aggression? Who has a food aggressive dog present? Oh, we were worried. Do I? Yeah, well, that's from dog to dog. I think what we're dealing with is human to dog. Am I correct? Who's got a food aggressive human to dog here? If you stuck your hand in a bowl. All right, dog to dog? All right, has he eaten today yet? All right, get a little bit of food and somebody bring me a demo dog. There you go, right there. There's a couple of things that spark food aggression, and Jason capped it off wonderfully. In multi-dog environments, in animal control environments, in kennel environments, dogs feel that they need to compete for food. If you go back into the trade of wolves and you watch them tear apart a deer carcass, they're all grabbing. Why? Because somebody else is going to eat it. That's the mental trait. So if you have dogs in your house that is eating and another dog constantly goes to the bowl, set aside the fighting issue and you may have control over the fighting issue. Do you really have control over the dog going from bowl to bowl? That's another issue because you're inadvertently breeding food aggression. The dog's overall need to possess food and further resentment towards the dog approaching. Later on, it eventually leads from dog to person if you have multi-dogs. But the other piece to it is you hear stories of people that have food-aggressive dogs and they'll put a leash on it, pull the leash up. Some of the trainers have told them to take the bowl away. Has anyone heard that? Huh? The old method. Well, what do you think you're really doing to the dog? You're making it worse. So if I had a dog with food aggression, the first thing I always do is make the dog wait for his food. But the problem is, as someone had said to me this morning, Sam, if I make him, or just an hour ago, if I make him wait for the food, then he gets more aggressive with me. Has anyone had that happen? You're holding a food bowl and a dog starts to growl at you. All right. The dog hasn't been taught timed patience, so you step back a bit. If you're going to teach timed patience, do you use it with the object of aggression or focus, or do you find something else that you can use a subtle timed patient teaching with? How about a Kong with peanut butter in it? If he likes it. I don't care if it's a dog biscuit. And at this time, you will put a lead on him. And if you taught him to sit, stays well, and you say patient, and he goes for it, just a mild, I said sit. And you teach him. Now, you don't drive the dog on a time patience level in the brink of starting to go nuts. So if you start off with a dog on time patience, and 30 seconds later he's starting to whimper, you went too far with the time patience introduction. You go to 25 seconds or 20 while he's patient and reward him for the patience. The next day you might start it by 3 or 5 seconds. 10 seconds, 20 seconds. All of a sudden you can stand there for a minute with your bone, okay? So if you can teach a dog with a Kong and peanut butter to sit for 1 minute in time patience, you go to the food level. Why would I go to the food next if I was using food? One, did I imprint the time patience teaching? Yeah, right? He understands what time patience is. So I did not take the object of his desire and teach him time patience with. I took a subtler object with desire to teach time patience with. All right? All right. So once that's done, I'm going to use the food bowl and make him wait. Now, it's 2 minutes with a Kong. How long do we want him to wait for his food bowl? No. Go back to the beginning. Figure out how long it takes for him to freak out. So if it's 15 seconds, don't give him the food then. Put it away. Wait an hour and go back and know that it's 15 seconds, so stop at 10 and then put the food bowl down. Now what happens is, while you're in the room with the food bowl and you're sitting there, is the dog growling at you? Some cases he does, am I right? Huh? Anybody? You never had a dog growling at you while he's eating? All right. What I usually do with that is I have a chair, and I'm sitting down like this, and I will figure out exactly how far it is away. If I tried it at 5 feet, but I don't start closer because I'm backing away, on Monday I might try it 10 feet away, but I'm still in the presence of the room and the dog's way back there. I won't say a word. I'll just sit here and read a book. Okay? The next day I'll go to 8 feet, 10 feet. So now I am standing pretty well closer, sitting close to the bowl. Okay? The dog has now understood time patience for waiting. That established my leadership. I need to be present in the room while he's eating. I used to have a dog that if you put food in his kennel, get the hell out of there and run. All right? But what I used to do is that I had to eventually retire Cheyenne. Oh, that was a living nightmare, that dog, eh? The last 2 years of his life, I used to have to wake him up in the morning and say, "Are you in a good mood today?" All right, and because I had to step over him in the foyer to get from the bedroom to the kitchen, and I used to have to say, all right, do I have to jump over him, or do I have to tiptoe, or can I just walk by normally? All right, he was a very possessive dog. All right, but anyway. So I'm sitting there, and I get the dog used to it. The next step is to try to call the dog away from the food. Don't try to take the food away. Call him away from the food. How's that going to work? All right, so if your dog likes Pedigree Pal with kibble to get him to eat, are you going to feed him Pedigree Pal with kibble when you're going to call him away from the food? Use dry kibble. But for being called away from the food, you got to give him something special on the other end of it. 10 pounds of liver, guys. So you have to entice him away. This is a non-forced method, okay? Finally, and the final piece to it is, you actually have to take the bowl away. Okay, and this is where the trouble lies. So you go back. If you went to the Kong with peanut butter or the Kong stuffed with liver and you have a Kong in your hand, you know we did the tuggings and taught the release? Well, you do the same thing with the liver. All right? By teaching the dog to sit while he's eating and calling him away while he's eating, I'll give you a trick. When you call him away while he's eating, for the first step, sit him in a sit-stay and go and pick up the bowl. All right? You must never, ever, when you're dealing with food aggression, put yourself in a submissive situation. Many people sit there. Now, if you're dealing with a puppy and it's a rot pup, and rotty pups are famous for this, by the time they're 9 weeks old, they already start growling in a bowl. Anybody had a Rottweiler? They all do it. Do you want to know why? They're extremely dominant, independent animals. Where the shepherd is a herding type dog, or your collies or borders, your Rottweiler is more of a flock guardian type dog. Do you guys know what the difference is? What's the difference? So now you know why so many people have so much trouble with Rottweilers. So if it's a guarding breed, it's supposed to be up guarding, is that a dog should be pampered. Even when you raise them. How many people pamper them? Oh, somebody's got her hand up going. And if something is not used to being pampered by heritage and you pamper it, what happens? Yeah, he can't deal with it. But does not pampering mean hurting the dog? No. Teaching the dog and being direct. Okay. So getting back to that is that if you call a dog away and make him sit, this is a long-term process without extreme. Look, I can stop a dog from being food aggressive in 5 minutes. I can guarantee it. Okay? It's very simple. The old method. Grab a choke chain, pick him up, string him up, couple of jerks, throw him on his back so you do it again, and maybe even whack him with the bowl. Have you ever heard of stuff like that being done? Well, when I was training 20 years ago, that was the cure for dog at food aggression. Until I realized that the dog submitted for the owner, but then when the little kid went by, the dog took the kid's face off. Okay? So you got to take things in steps, okay? So